So in the beginning, because
Right.
it's scary, it's very
Right.
drastic, it's drastic change, right? So I try to calm myself, calm my
Oof.
intellect, right? My intellect is trying to predict the worst scenario. So
Welcome to Pathways to Purpose, Stories from the Freedom Collective, where we journey alongside remarkable women who have dared to follow that little internal voice and create a life that's in alignment with who they truly are. If you're at a place in your life where you're asking yourself, what's next? Who am I? And what do I really want? Go to IamTheFreedomCollective.com and grab yourself the video series, The Power Within. This resource, it's free right now because I want to help empower as many women as I can. It'll give you 7 keys that were never taught in school or university, so you can gain a new level of clarity and start creating a life and work that reflects who you truly are. Now, I'm excited. Let's get into this incredible story. Imagine leaving a 2-decade career in the bustling world of IT to embark on a completely new path. Our guest today did just that, transforming fears and uncertainty into a powerful message of grace, ease, and leadership. She's a coach, a facilitator, an author, and a speaker who left a successful 20-year career in user experience design and strategy to follow her heart. Through her book, The Heart Space, Living with Grace and Ease in an Era of Uncertainty, she is a visionary who has turned her journey of uncertainty into a path of enlightenment and empowerment. Christine, thank you so much for joining us today.
Khalid, thank you so much for having me, and I love what you just share with the audience.
It's all true. It's all true. You're so incredible, and it's just been such an honor to get to know you and to have conversations every time I speak to you. And when I've read your book, I just come away with every cell in my being resonating because you're speaking truth, that just hits me at the core. And so I really honor you and I thank you so much for sharing your journey. And today we're going to talk about that journey for you of transforming your life from corporate success. You are really successful. You were really successful in the roles that you held and the leadership that you walked in, the teams that you built and led. And then you had this moment, right? You started to realize, or maybe it was multiple moments that you started to realize that something was a little bit off. So can you take us back to that moment or those key moments where you realized your successful career in IT wasn't aligned with your true purpose? What was that like?
Yeah. It's quite interesting because I did, and I still feel I did enjoy what I did when I worked as, in user experience field. What coming to me is as I follow my career, right? And in your career, what you do is you stay there, you gain experience, and then you move up, right? That's one way street. But in life, it's not really organic. It's not really natural that way. In a way, we change as we grow. We change as we have different experiences. We're not the same person as when we graduated or start our career. And that's what I felt. I had fun in my career. And then I grew as a person. I grew spiritually. I grew mentally. I overcome things. I get more understanding about trauma that I had that I didn't know I had. I get experience of healing journey in my life. And then I realized what it means to be in this world. And then I follow my own feelings. Like, why is it like I didn't find satisfaction at all in this? I found a different passions that is still using the same kind of skill or same passion that I have during my career, but it's different. But it's not aligned with the business goal. So over time, I felt like I was forced into a, fitting into a box. So basically, I grew up from the box. And at the end, it was pretty unpleasant experience where I gone through a very difficult or toxic environment, toxic process, which make me think, is this really what I want? And through that painful experience in my career, that I realized, this is not the way people should work or be treated. And therefore, that also helped me to figure out, this is I didn't want this. Therefore, I look and explore what I wanted. And through that I carry questions instead of answers. So for me, living my career is, I know it's going to be difficult. It's going to be scary. And I tried to do that before, long time ago, many times. And I always go back because it is scary. So this time I went and I asked myself, if it's not now, when? If it's not me, who? That is basically my question that I said to myself. Yes, this is the time. This is the time to leave. This is the time to really follow my heart, because I haven't really give that a chance for me to grow, to really see me as who I am, to really listen and hear the longing and desire that I have, to really allow myself to open up and express my inner genius. Because I think we all have inner genius, but we are so needed to be put in the box.
Can we just pause there for a moment? Because I feel like there were so many really important pieces that you shared in that beginning part of your story. And what I was hearing was that it wasn't this one big defining moment. It was all these little pieces, from just starting to pay attention to the questions coming to your mind. Like, is this really what I want? Is what's happening here? Then, and noticing that there were elements of you that needed work. You mentioned, like, you discovered that you had traumas that you didn't even realize you had. You didn't even realize. That is such a big piece. And I know that we all carry these big moments of impact a lot of the time from our little lives that need to be healed. And you shared that you went on this healing journey. And another thing you said, which really captured me, is you started to ask questions rather than find the answers. Or how did you say it? There was something about you've rephrased or restructured the way you look at things. What's that piece around questions and answers?
Yeah, I think you say it well. I guess, and then I think you bring it up because this is very important. This is I would say, you show me that, yeah, you're right. This is one of the tipping point, because in the professional life, right? What you do is you provide solutions for your clients or your coworkers or whatever it is, right? We provide solutions, we provide products to solve problems. We provide service to solve problems. So even I'm used to, try to find an answer. Like, I have a question, I want to get the answer right away, because it's very uncomfortable to live with questions, to have questions that doesn't have answer. And I know I've been living in trying to finding answers right away. Or, finding people who done it before, so I can, like, find 5 steps, proven bulletproof things to, solve my problem. That maybe work for small things, for, very practical things like, how to fix your phone, for example. But it is about life, which is organic, which is beyond our intellectual understanding. So what I found very helpful, and this is require a very, I would say, you gotta be brave, you gotta be courageous to carry only questions. But the reward is such an amazing thing, because when you carry questions, so I carry questions in the beginning, it's kind of giving you direction. Like, for example, I wanna, like, it's allowing the universe to give you the answers, and the answers sometimes comes not in like da-da, the whole thing like suddenly show up with like the sentence, and it's more like like it gives like breadcrumb trail, like here and there. Oh, okay, I got this, and this was another one, this one another one, and it makes the journey such a more fun,
It
and
is. It's
entertaining.
fun and entertaining once you learn how to be in it. But you mentioned like there's this piece,
Yes.
you've got to be courageous, you've got to be brave. And in that first part of the story that you shared, you said, I had tried to leave many times before. I had tried many times, but then I always came back, right? Because that fear grips you, and
Yes.
that like all of these systems that we're so used to living within really define so many areas of our life. And I know you talk about that in your book, The Heart Space, which is stunning, 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 stunning. But what happened for you? How did you actually make that transition? What did you do? What steps did you take when you finally went, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to leave my 9 to 5. Was there a moment that triggered that forced you, or did you choose? What happened?
I would say sometimes suffering and pain is really make you it's like, it's just so painful to be in it. It's so uncomfortable to be in it that for me, I don't have any choice. Not in I'm a victim or something like that. I want a different outcome. I want a different experience. I want a different feeling. Do I want to stay in the same feeling or in the same experience that I want? And for me, it's about being curious. And being, the first time I decided, I told myself, I gotta try this for 6 months. Just for 6 months, see how it goes, right? Because it's scary to say, I gotta live this career forever. It's so final, like when you marry someone, you just don't say, oh, I'm gonna try getting married. You really have to think about it, and sometimes people back off of marriage, getting married, because it's just so scary. It's a huge commitment. So for me, coming from the place of curiosities and playfulness, of course, first of all, look, this is so painful. I just cannot stand it anymore, right? And then, so there is no other way than doing something different, right? Because if it's painful and uncomfortable, and this is not the place I want to be, and I'm worried if I'm, what about that? What about if I couldn't find, if I don't pay bills, I cannot pay my bills. And of course I worry about that. But if my fear prevent me to do what I love, which is, it had been like that for years, right? I know that approach didn't work anymore. So I have to find a different approach. And the different approach that I never tried before is, being back like a child again, being playful. And also accepting. And I think the tipping point that I found, it's so painful. And then I said to myself, you know what, I accept this. This is the way for me to push me to the other side. And from there, I learned to expand my muscles of acceptance, because without acceptance, we always resist, because I think we all live always with resistance, right? And if I stop resisting, I will be able to listen more to my intuition.
How do you do that? How did you do that? How did you combat that fear that comes? Take us to the moment. Give us a tool, or give us just your experience. What did you do to overcome that fear?
That's a great question. And I wrote this in my book because I want to write something where I experience it. And what I found works for me is like this. When you have a toddler or little child, and they come to you and they said, I'm afraid, like they cry and they're like, I'm afraid I cannot sleep by myself, or I'm afraid of, there's ghost behind the window, right? And what I've been doing to myself, and what we do to our children most of the time is like, there's no ghost, don't worry, you can sleep here, that's okay, there's no ghost, you're okay, right? For that child to be saying that way, because they don't have understanding as us, it doesn't really address their fear, right? It's just brush away their fear. So the fear, they don't have understanding. The fear is always going to be there. So next time they see it, they feel that ghost again or something scary, they're gonna learn, oh, that's just, I just gonna brush it off. But the fear is still there. So what I learned, the metaphor of it is like, this child would say, I'm afraid, there's ghosts there. I would go to that child as a mother, for example, and say, oh, you're afraid. Come, sit with me. Sit with me. And I sit with her. And maybe in silence, maybe like being with her. Acknowledging that fear. And then as you acknowledge, what happened is the feeling disappear. That's because the feelings never stays. Like what we feel and what we think never stay. It's always come and go like clouds. So when the fear comes, let's say can I make money from it? Is this the right thing? And I get, frustrated, or I get anxious about if I'm doing the right thing, or I feel disappointed because, let's say my social media doesn't really go anywhere, or I would sit and then, oh, this is what I feel. I feel disappointed. Or I feel really scared about money thing, about financial thing. And I would sit with it gently, acknowledging, yeah, it's true. It's scary. Yeah. It's true, Christine, it's scary. And then you feel disappointed right now. And then just acknowledging it and feeling it. And then doing it something else. So what I found is that is the way beautiful. Of the heart space. And the heart space is a gentle holding space where all the feelings, thoughts, experience can be, all our contradictions and complexity can be together in one room. So when we hold things gently in a space where all are welcome, because we have wanting control, we're afraid, but we want to do
want the
something,
answer.
we have this desire, all of it.
Yeah.
We want the answer, right?
Yeah.
We don't know, we get confused, but we want something. When we allow all of it to be in one space, just for a little bit longer, then a new insight and a fresh intelligence can come. Because otherwise we try to solve the fear without doing the work, right? So I have to control my fear, try to find the answers, try to calm myself, and then what happened is I spend and waste a lot of energy just to do that part instead of doing allowing my intuition, my wisdom to, or my expression, to do it works.
That is so good, so powerful. And just all of that takes practice. And something that I say to take that pressure off, to add to that is just practice. Don't worry about getting the answer right. Just
Yes.
practice, hold the space, so it's holding that space, allowing those questions to come, acknowledging where you're at, right? And so you did that. I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey, that transition time. You said you were going to give yourself 6 months. What did you learn in that time, and how did it lead you to where you are now? And share a little bit about what you do now with us.
Okay. So in the beginning, because it's scary, it's very drastic, it's drastic change, right? So I try to calm myself, calm my intellect, right? My intellect is trying to predict the worst scenario. So to calm it down, of course, like if it's not final, I always can go back. I always can change my mind. And that's very important, not to allow it to be open. You can just give it, give up what you decide to do. You can do something else, or you can, not doing what you want to do. So in the beginnings, I did some kind of game to myself, and at the same time, I stumbled upon the words "koddiwumpo." Koddiwumpo. Koddiwumpo is an English word slang, which means to move purposefully towards an as yet unknown destination. I thought, this is the word that I need. And this is just like so genius. Because what happened is, I don't know where I'm going to go, what is the end journey, but I can commit, and I know I can move one step at a time purposefully. That's I can promise myself to do. Right? So that way I just like, okay, I'm going to move. And I going to move with joy. I got to move with playfulness. So everything I move, I putting myself into, is this joyful? Is this playful? And that's basically roll the ball, right? Because it's scary, but it's exciting. And through that, there's so, I met new people. I co-create and collaborate with amazing human beings that they're my friends now. I developed this network of people who are like in the same, like share purpose. And that is such a beautiful thing because, sometimes we miss our coworkers, our colleague at work if we going solo. But I find my colleagues not in the same organization, but in life. There's so many people doing the same thing. And that is very energizing because you're not alone.
Yeah. Yes. So beautiful. I love that word, koddiwumpo. I think that is something that we can all take and apply to our lives. So where are you now and what do you do now, Christine?
I've been working with my business partner, a colleague that I found, let's do something. Let's have fun. And then through all the works together, we created a program called Women's Career Mastery. We create podcasts for that. We create a program to help women who are still in their career, because there are a lot less women in the pipeline for leadership. So we want to help them, support them, because they are needed. They're still needed there. So that's one thing I do. Of course, the launch of the book that's coming. I also do coaching and facilitation. I have a group through Meetup called Deep Listening Circles and Women in Transitions, to help people experience what it means to listen to one another, to be seen and acknowledged. So those are my kind of experiment. And in June, I will be speaking on TED Talk. That's coming about the power of deep listening. And also in May, I will be part of Solution Focus SF24. It's a summit for solution focused coaching and brief coaching and practitioners about, again,
Wow.
deep listening as well. So yeah, it's just, I have so much work, but it's so exciting. So yeah, it's something that really energized me.
This is going to be a really obvious question to wrap up, but would you say that what you're doing now is in alignment with the true essence of who you are?
Definitely. I would say that it is in alignment with who I am. And it's such a great feeling. It's such a great feeling to be where I am right now. But it's not easy. It just takes a lot of courage, a lot of overcoming my own fear to be here. To say, no, basically acceptance is, acceptance is two side of the coin, right? You accept what happened, you accept the realities, your acceptance is important, but you also cannot accept things that are not aligned with your own. So I choose what I accept and what I'm not accepting. And I have enough of not listening to myself, not making myself matter. And this is the time not for that. Because I believe if I can just do it for myself, making me important and matter for me, then that is enough to change the world, because the world needs to see examples. And I hope what I do inspire others to do the same, because it's possible.
Yeah. Thank you for what you do, Christine. I really want to take a moment to honor you and thank you for one, stepping out of the comfort zone, your own comfort zone, because as you've done that, you create space, right? And now you share a story that inspires me to keep having courage. And this piece of alignment that you now get to live in, even though it's scary at times, even though it's, there are uncertainties in it, but coming into that place of alignment only happens when you're willing to have the courage to step outside of the comfort zone. And would you say an important piece of that journey is, if you're in this moment of transition, get connected with people that are also on the journey, get connected with coaches, facilitators, people like yourself, Christine, people like me who help people navigate that change. Would you say like that is an important key? Don't do it alone. Find the people so you don't feel like an island.
Yes, definitely. Because and the reason why I have meetups and building communities, because transitions is a lone journey. Like, it's lonely. Because you are taking a path least traveled. So be with people with the same, same purpose or the same journey. Learn from others who experienced it before, because it's such a different to feel I'm alone and nobody feel what I feel, and to be in the world and knowing that, the sister next to you, the brother next to you are in the same journey as you. And that makes difference, because we are not alone creatures. We're made for community. Social creatures.
We're made for community and collaboration. So if anything that Christine has said has inspired you, sparked you, if you've thought, oh, I would like to be part of those women's circles, all of the links are going to be in the show notes. So please go check them out. Please connect with Christine. Go download chapter 2 of her book. It's on her website, again, linked below. And Let us know what has sparked in your heart from listening to this conversation. Let us know in the comments. Shoot us a voice memo. Connect with us on socials. We would love to hear how this conversation has impacted you, where you are on your journey. And it's just such a delight to be able to be on this journey with you wherever you're at in that transition, whether it's just, oh, I'm starting to notice these questions, all these little pieces, or you're about to take the big step. Connect. There are women around you here to support you, ready to walk this journey with you. So connect. We're sending love and peace out to everyone. And Christine, I just thank you so much for taking time to speak with us, to share your story, to be vulnerable, and to inspire us. You are absolutely a delight.
Thank you, Tale. And thank you, Tale, for being you, for being amazing listeners, for putting out your brilliant in the world. And thank you for having me in your podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us today. If you were inspired by that story, please check out the description below this video, because it will have all of the links that you need to connect with our guest and access their incredible resources. If you're in a place where you're feeling like, yeah, I know that there is something more for me and I want to start taking those next steps, but I'm not quite sure where to start, we have got your back here at the Freedom Collective. So again, in the description below, there are links to an incredible free resource. It's a 7-part video series where I give you 7 keys that we're never taught at school, we're never taught at university. And what these keys will do is they will help to start putting those foundation pieces in place so that you can bring your life into alignment with who you truly are. Your life, your work, your dreams, the things that are resonating at your core. Okay, so check that out. Connect with our guests. They're incredible. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, please share it with them. And we look forward to sharing another story with you again shortly on Pathways to Purpose, Stories from the Freedom Collective.